From an article I originally wrote in 1981, which was derived from the Akasha of Thoth. Geochronism is the entrainment of Earth and its life inhabitants to the universal condition of change, creating new states of reality and resultant advanced modes of energy conductivity. All being is charged by the reaction of its own existence. This cognitive factor impels the being to replicate its space-time existence in a sequential order. Elemental matter is a resultant vehicle for this replication. Within the matter of being, both living and what surface scientists consider non-living matter, is an etheric neuropulse, an electrode, a programmed reflex, which is not physically ordained in an elemental shell, but is an intelligent command present in the whole of the matter form. The universe itself is the archetypal neuropulse, acting like a wave continuously rolling beneath its own force in undertow fashion. All being is entrained to this cosmic pulse. Planetary spheres and their habitation abide by a specific condition of this entrainment, Geochronism, which is the most controlled gravitational type of unitrainment. Because a planetary sphere is subject to the multiplicity of the many-bodied state in its solar orbit and its axial spin, its unitrainment is complicated by many more variations of the time-gravity system than are other being forms. This greater need for diversity produces the geochromatic phases of quanta-like clicks, much like a stopwatch accelerating and deaccelerating in a helix of time, each click initiating a change in the reality spectra to accommodate the difference between the universal pulsing and the neuropulse of the planet. Since the matter body of a sphere has many variant parts, each individual in type and function, inclusive of all planetary life structure, the neuropulse of the total body is subdivided into the multi-billion plus neuropulses of the individual prototypes, divisible down to the smallest micro-impulse, which registers the harmonic of the entire matter body of the planet like a microvision of the world. While each neuropulsed particle acts independently in the sense of selfness, it is not divided in the incorporate consciousness of the system as a whole, i.e. a phase-locked planetary body. The inspiring document, which reads, "Indivisible, with liberty and justice for all," is a testament to the cosmic sovereignty of the planet as it resides among the temples of a universal doctrine. Each particle of being registers a hologram of the universe. In its fragile decimal of existence, it commands a perfect presence of selfness, unique in its containment of spirit. While the two major matter form distinctions on Earth are geologic and biologic, they share a symbiotic condition of change and are thus both unitrained to the whole neuropulse of our ether planet, the true quality of this sphere, which is greater than the sum of its physical parts. Life is not a mere attachment to Earth, but the greatly specialized and vastly replicated amplitude of its geochronism, the advanced nodes of energy conductivity. Life is the vehicle for the infinite progression of realities, which is formulated in the Icosa dodecahedron. The subterranean cultures of the heritage of one within the hollow earth, are the guardians of cosmogeologic blueprints mapping the planet's energy structure on all levels of its existence. The Earth performs the functions of a many-faceted crystal, creating dimensions of reality through an intricate network of telluric force lines, a crystalline grid encompassing the planetary sphere. The following information is printed in Earthfire 1, a publication by Geochronsim, and I quote, "The structure of the planetary crystal form an icosahedron made up of 20 equilateral triangles interconnected with a dodecahedron composed of 12 pentagons, or icosadodeca for short. In the esoteric wisdom of the Pythagoreans, the icosa and dodeca are the fourth and fifth of the 5 sacred solids known to geometry, each having special characteristics associated with it which reflect a hidden understanding of energies resounding throughout. The icosa symbolizes water, perpetual regeneration, and the color blue. The dodeca, on the other hand, vibrates to the element aether, an all-pervading substance known to the ancients but neglected by modern science, which unites and shapes all material elements and is the color white-yellow. We are reminded of the blue dragon and the white tiger of the Chinese Lung Mei earth energies, with their New World counterparts, the blue-green feathered serpent Quetzalcoatl and the yellow jaguar, Tezcatlipoca, of the Aztecs. As these two polarities were remembered as continually seeking balance together in the world's subterranean currents, so the two crystal forms are also harmonized within the structure of planet Earth. Now this ends the quotes from Geochronsim, and we return to me and Thoth. The subterranean cultures perpetuate the belief of their and our ancient ancestors that all physical being is the geometry of spirit, actualized through the impacting and compressing of thought. Without sentience, there would be no physical dimension. The energy of mind is also the seed current for the life waves on this planet. The viable planetary energies, or life waves, are generated in the aether and therefore are in associate relationship to the dodecahedron geometric form. Yet without the regenerating, sustaining fluid of water, the continuity of the life waves in the matter realm would not be possible. It takes fluidic conductivity to bring together the very opposite conditions of dynamics and inertness into a symbiotic harmony. The icosahedron geometric water form then provides the line of action for this emulsification. On the crystallic planetary grid, the icosadodeca charges the Earth with two creative genders, icosa water female and dodeca aether male. The pupils of the eyes of the star kindred and interterrestrial beings dilate when exposed to light. This is due to the fact that their body sensors are in harmony with light, whereas ours are not. Since we receive only the physical friction degree of light, it is an irritant to us, even though we cannot live without its radiant bath. Thus, only small amounts may enter into our biosystems at a time. The pupils must contract to keep these energy frequencies to a minimum. The more illuminated body-soul complex is in parity with the entire spectrum of light, and upon encountering it, the body embraces it fully. In order for the planet to keep in unitrainment, the degree of advancement along the time helix determines its phase lock on the geochronic scale. When we view, for instance, the planetary Venus via our phase lock, which is not changed by our form of space travel, we take it with us, we see the Venusian sphere out of geochromatic sync with Earth. We perceive it then through an altered state, one which has been determined by our Geochronism. Our light-space gravity-time spectra are not at a proper dimensional angle to synchronize perspective balance between the two worlds. The zenith of the Venusian reality is removed from us when approached through our limited programming. Without sentience, there would be no physical dimension. The energy of mind is also the seed current for the life waves on this planet. The viable planetary energies or life waves are generated in the aether and therefore are in associate relationship to the dodecahedron geometric form. Yet without the regenerating, sustaining fluid of water, the continuity of the life waves in the matter realm would not be possible. It takes fluidic conductivity to bring together the very opposite conditions of dynamics and inertness into a symbiotic harmony. The icosahedron geometric water form, then, provides the line of action for this emulsification. On the crystallic planetary grid, the icosa-dodeca charges the Earth with two creative forces, icosa water and dodeca aether. The central sunatoma of the Earth contains a varied energy field, expanding and contracting as it responds to the outer solar orb and to its own magnetic atmosphere, as well as many other universal influences. As the atoma conducts its energy dance, the atmosphere of the hollow cavity in which it is suspended becomes rich in conductive ethers. I have used the term conductive ethers to encompass the etheric conductor or charge, which is the adhesive quality pervading all substance, which is the aether. There are various degrees of charge within the aether, depending upon the presence of sentient awareness or the spirit factor. Within the central hollow, all the spiritual powers of the planet come together in the atom, where much of it is transformed into a physical charge. The central hollow of the planet acts as a resonant cavity. The definition of a resonant cavity, according to the Penguin Dictionary of Science, is, and I quote, a space enclosed by electrically conducting surfaces in which electromagnetic energy may be stored or excited. The frequency of the oscillations within a resonant cavity will depend upon its physical dimensions. End of quotes. As the conductive ethers in the hollow build in pressure upon the atoma inner sun, they are channeled through the nervous system of the planet, the many fractures and veins of ore, minerals, and crystals, to the Earth's surface membrane, the crystalline grid. Viewing the Earth from a crystalline perspective rather than a biological one, the icosa-dodeca facings of the crystallic grid pattern act as the opposing facings for the resonant cavity of the central Earth hollow, creating a unique piezoelectric effect. As the energy migrates from the center of each frame to the lattice edges, the pressure is relieved and replaced by a tension along these lattice edges. The positive-negative charges are then reversed. The ether body and the auric body of the planet, the latter being the chakric radiation of the former, acts as a soul shell surrounding and involving the Earth. As the pressure of the resonant cavity effect builds upon the icosododeca facings of the crystalline grid, the planetary soul shell expands through a process the Hollow Earth scientists call second form manifestation. For the sake of condensation, I will not attempt to explain this principle here, but suffice to say it does occur, and in doing so allows the transformation of the pressure buildup on the crystallic facings into tension along the lattice edges. As the tension is equalized on the lattice edges, the size of the crystal function body of the planet, not the physical size of the sphere, but the performance of its dynamics as a crystal, increases. The results are manifest in an inverse piezoelectric effect. This completes the crystallic cycle begun within the central sonatoma. The Penguin Dictionary of Science defines piezoelectric and inverse piezoelectric effect as follows, beginning with the former, and I quote, "A property of certain asymmetric crystals. When such crystals are subjected to a pressure, positive and negative electric charges are produced on opposing faces. The signs of these charges are reversed if the pressure is replaced by a tension. The inverse piezoelectric effect occurs if such crystals are subjected to an electric potential and alteration in size of the crystal taking place." This is the end of quotes. The crystallic grid is one of universal dimensions, extending far beyond the icosododeca facings of the Earth's surface and reaching into the smaller and smaller Earth chambers of geometric pattern, down into the quartz of rock, to the minute lattices of interdimension. Without this entire energy process, our planet as a physical body could not exist. Dynamics is the condition of the universe and all of its components. Through geometries, the holonomic mirror is conceived within each facing, each microparticle, reflecting the entire moving picture, complete to the nth degree. The more illuminated body-soul complex is in parity with the entire spectrum of light, and upon encountering it, the body embraces it fully. That's the end of the 1981 article. But I would like to say also, Geochronism is the movement of Earth through time. Each planet is a multidimensional Merkaba, a vessel of light-time induction. It is both a battery and a starship. Since what I just read to you is rather deep and scientific, I wish to bring it into a focal point of how it relates to the Earth and you now, so that we can understand our relationship to it. And it's not some just fancy scientific terms. You know, it comes down into the real heart and soul of you and the planet, of the human relationship to Earth and vice versa. So to begin to do that, I went to ChatGPT-4, which has now a lot of my material within it in a particular knowledge base. And it can go into that knowledge base, and I can ask it questions of my own material, and it can summarize. And this is a very cool aspect of ChatGPT, because when we're dealing with such complex material as this, summarizing is a good thing. And this helps me out a lot. So let's just go through some points here. First of all, Geochronism is a concept that refers to the entrainment of Earth and its life inhabitants to the universal condition of change, creating new states of reality and resultant advanced modes of energy conductivity. It is the most controlled gravitational type of unitrainment, a synchronization to a cosmic pulse that impacts the planetary spheres and their habitations. Here are the key points and issue references for Geochronism. Definition and process. Geochronism is the controlled gravitational type of unitrainment due to a planet's multiplicity in its solar orbit and axial spin. This complexity results in the geochromatic phases of quanta-like clicks that initiate changes in the reality spectrum. It involves the continuous replication of space-time, existence in the sequential order, with elemental matter serving as the vehicle for this replication. The planet's neuropulse, a specific etheric pulse, governs this process, ensuring that all matter, living and non-living, remains synchronized to the cosmic pulse. Life on Earth is a greatly specialized and replicated amplitude of its geochronism, acting as advanced nodes of energy conductivity necessary for maintaining unitrainment. The implications and examples. The geochromatic synchronization affects how we perceive other planetary bodies, such as Venus, which appears out of sync with Earth's geochronism due to different light, space, gravity, time spectra. Sacred lands like Mount Shasta are mentioned as regions where geochromatic influences are strongly felt, showcasing the interconnection between Earth's sacred places and its geochronism. Now that particular was left out of what I quoted to you somehow, but it is referenced as one of the original parts of the article. And lastly, conceptual importance. Geochronism underscores the holistic interconnectedness of all planetary life forms and matter through a universal pulse, reflecting a deeper spiritual and physical unity. It is a testament to the cosmic sovereignty of the planet, aligning with universal doctrines. So that's what ChatGPT-4 has to say about what I wrote in 1981. As I speak to you now in 2024, and that would be June of 2024, we see ourselves so intricately connected to all the dynamics that are going on the planet right now. We've always been, of course, but more so in a way at this point in time, because we are preparing a platform of consciousness and spirit to move from a world system 1 to a world system 2, one of entropy to syntropy, to the new Earth star, as Thoth calls it for our planet. And in that process, we are having to reconcile the time continua within our internal clocks, within our beings, because everything we are receiving from all this information, misinformation, and all of the things that are going on, filling us through, the internet and AI and all of this, it is quite an overload unless we move above it. That's not ignoring it. That's moving above the frequency line so that we can be in contact with the geochromatic forces of the planet in a more conscious and aware manner. And as we do that, all the static and all the true information and the false information and all the in-between information that we're receiving in our being and all of this that's going on, and the frequencies that are trying to control us and all of these things are not relevant to our awareness. We know of it, we can keep track of it, but it's not part of our systemic function anymore. And I know that seems almost fantasy, but it can happen. It does happen on varying degrees. It's why it's so important to stay aligned with heart-centered consciousness. If you attempt to use your mind only in trying to figure it all out, it simply does not work. It gets you deeper involved. But if you use your heart intelligence, to communicate to your mind, then you start receiving the true signals of consciousness. We are magnetic, dynamic beings in the flesh, and as the soul interacts with that flesh, it's a miracle of action, and we can do marvelous things in that incarnation. However, it is important to realize that we are also a universal time machine, in that we are able to multidimensionally track time fields, timelines, ways of thinking and being that coordinate with other dimensions of self. Geochronism helps us to do that if we use it as a dimensional freeway to source.